Today we're going to look at what cards are in my wallet for this month. We'll also cover some prior trips now that everything's calmed down, along with some upcoming ones that we just booked. Big favor before we dive into everything is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm. If you are new and you want to travel smarter, consider subscribing. The first card on the list is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Part of it is multipliers and the other reason is perks. I tend to book a lot of my flights and hotels directly, so 4 weeks back here for both is solid. The rates for dining worldwide is also not bad at all, especially since we do try to have a few fancier meals when we do travel, including a few Michelin star options, so they can surprisingly add up. For flights, we've been flying United more, mostly due to routing. As much as I like flying Delta, if it's a boring domestic flight and I'm not doing a review anyways, I'd rather just block off 4 hours rather than 6. Also, some of these are work flights, so I don't want to risk missing a connection, especially if they are shorter ones. One benefit of the Chase Sapphire Reserve is that you can access some Air Canada Maple Leaf lounges when you are flying Star Alliance. United is a founding member of Star Alliance. It's probably one of the better and less busy options for SFO. I think the food can't be more substantive at some other lounges, but it's still a good alternative. The other benefit is travel insurance, like flight delay. Unlike a lot of other cards, you don't have to charge the full flight amount to the card, but even a portion is fine in order to get coverage. Obviously, there are a lot more terms, but it's significantly less harsh compared to other issuers. So for example, we ended up finding plus points upgrades from economy to the new United Polaris for Singapore. Here we're paying $1,000 to book economy and then 40 plus points to lock in the upgrade to business. In total, we're using $2,100 from Travel Bank and then paying $47 from the Chase Sapphire Reserve for the insurance coverage. That works here, but a lot harder with other cards. For the main competitors, you'd have to charge the full amount in order to get coverage. A lot of them also require you to have a round trip. If you have one-ways that go all the way around, then that's fine, but sometimes we don't have flights back home. I get a bit more into it when we talk about the travel, but for the US to Japan route that was booked, Japan to Dubai was booked, and Dubai to Zurich was booked. From there, we had nothing booked to get home, which worked out given the circumstances, but wouldn't work for insurance. The credits can be a bit annoying, but not bad if you are tracking it using Cardonomics or a spreadsheet. At this point, it's just a to-do list of relevant ones and then ignoring the ones that you don't care about. On the note of StubHub, we did finally get to see Wemby play in real life, which was a fun experience. Reminder that if you do have the card, they have a Whoop offer. I'm currently wearing it and have been wearing it for years. Feel free to pause, but you have about a month left, but worth locking in if you care. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's a fitness, recovery, and sleep tracker. It's used by a lot of professional athletes who want to train smarter. This includes LeBron James, who's pretty health focused. Even if you're not as into the data, some people like it because it's not like an Oura ring where you'd have to take it off in order to lift weights. You also don't have to take it off like you would an Apple Watch if you like wearing other watches. Or I guess you could double wrist, but I don't think I could pull that off. If you want to join the AskSebby community to keep accountable, the code will be on the screen. It's actually helped me be better with things. So at the start of March, my Whoop age was 1.8 years older, and in the last month, I've cut that down by a year to only 0.8 years older. The main issue for me is not sleeping enough. I can normally function on 4 or 5 hours, but probably not long-term ideal. But yeah, this is something I have been using for a few years now, since 2021 technically, and 2022 on this account. If you are on the fence with it, maybe sign up and try it out for a year, but set a reminder to cancel in 1 year minus 1 week. I like it, but a lot of people prefer Apple Watches or Garmins. If you want to check out Whoop and support the channel, go to AskSebby.com/Whoop. It basically means I can try other straps, even though I keep defaulting to this one. The next batch are the Chase Freedom Flex and Chase Freedom, the latter being a legacy card you can no longer apply for. Technically they're on my desk and not in my wallet, but still worth mentioning. For this quarter, the one I care about is 5% cash back on Amazon on up to $1,500 in combined purchases per card for the period. You do need to activate by June 14th, 2026 for this to work. If you have a few of these cards, then it's an amazing quarter. I'm building out an 80TB NAS since the drive situation is getting untenable. So just bought the NAS and the other parts. Gonna end up shucking some new drives into it. But yeah, generally my favorite rotating option other than maybe wholesale clubs. Reminder that you can stack these by doing product changes, and it's very much a strategy in the end game. Anything from the core family on the personal side, and generally a year after having it. At the moment, the family you can apply for include the Chase Freedom Unlimited, Chase Freedom Flex, Chase Sapphire Preferred Card, and Chase Sapphire Reserve. Main idea being that you can test drive these cards, and even if you move on to another setup, you can still product change to a useful card. Often where 2 to 3 of the quarters are easy to lock in value for. On a side note, if you want to learn about cards and you want to support the channel, we have links on the website AskSebby.com and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. For groceries, I'm currently running the Citi Custom Cash Card. You can also stack these as well if you do product changes. For the card, it's 5% back on your top spend category and up to $500 spend per billing cycle. There's a lot of options here, and a lot of people like to stick it on gas stations, grocery stores, drugstores, or live entertainment. The main reason being that those tend to be weaker categories for a lot of cards. It does earn thank you points, and the worst case is that it's cash back. Best case, you transfer to partners. For the catch-all, I'm running the Citi Double Cash Card. 2% back on everything, and it's earned as thank you points. Same idea here, it's transferable, so you have that upside. The everything else bucket is a bit of a weird category since I also use it for new cards and intro bonuses. Maybe I'm crazy, but given the math and how the numbers work out, I think that's the meta. For international catch-all, it's the Atmos Rewards Summit Visa Infinite Credit Card. Technically Mandy's card, but it works out. It's 3 points back per $1 spent on foreign transactions. This means that if we're buying limited edition items in Japan that would cost otherwise 2x more in the US, then we're getting 3 points back on dollar spent there. Your mileage may vary, but it can make a lot of sense for shopping. Speaking of trips, in February we went to Japan and then UAE and then Zurich. Japan was a bit of a workcation and then shopping and eating. You can definitely eat your money's worth if you're a big eater. On the travel channel Sebby Fung, that's the current trip that's being worked through. I might toss in some Hyatt stuff from before, that way people can book it before the devaluation. Grand Hyatt Tokyo should be out this week, and then probably Hyatt Central Ginza, and then Caption Tokyo after. I might also toss in Conrad Tokyo since that's been in the backlog. After that though, it's kind of a big question mark. What actually happened was that we ended up taking Emirates Game Changer from Haneda to Dubai. That was very much an S+ tier flight. I've reviewed a lot of flights over the years, but that's on another level. On that trip, we went to Dubai, checked out the St. Regis downtown, and then went to one of our favorite artists' cafes that just opened there, Daniel's Room. Afterwards, we took an Uber to Abu Dhabi and stayed at the Rosewood for a few days, which was pretty convenient, and then went to the Mandarin Oriental, which was beautiful. Also checked out the St. Regis Abu Dhabi while we were over on that side. That was end of February though, and that region became very unstable pretty much overnight. We did have a few nights though before our flight, and we had the Ritz-Carlton booked. Our flight was supposed to happen after that, but it got cancelled. We did try calling to get rebooked and tried their app, but everything was busted, so we had to Uber to their field office to get rebooked. A lot of the governments over there did cover hotels and meals for people that were stranded, which was amazing. It did vary though, even within the UAE. So for example, Abu Dhabi covered your room as well as food, but Dubai didn't really unless you had financial need and there was a burden of proof. Mind you, the hotel we were in wasn't too expensive, and I think it was actually below 100 given everything going on, but still a positive from that situation. The experience itself was also kind of strange, so we didn't see anything, but we did hear stuff. In the morning, we were woken up to interceptor missiles and the windows were shaking. For me personally, I wasn't too concerned since I knew they had an Iron Dome for defense, and I felt like there was too much riding on nothing catastrophic happening. It actually felt like most guys were pretty chill, other than ones with families with little kids. The second flight got cancelled again, so we did have to go back to the Emirates field office to get rebooked. At this point, Mandy got a bit more spooked since a lot of the other Chinese tourists ended up evacuating. A lot of people chartered cars to Oman and then either booked private jets or last-minute commercial flights to get out of the region. We did end up booking backup flights of Etihad just in case, but luckily third time was the charm and it worked out. The A380 is a bit older, but still a beautiful product. Funny enough, I did have my ski boots with me and helmet since we were initially going to go skiing in St. Moritz. So the goal was to ski for a week in Switzerland, but we ended up getting stranded for a week in Abu Dhabi. That was about a month ago, and I wasn't really sure if we should have talked about it, but now it feels a bit better. It still is a fluid situation, but it doesn't seem like they're being attacked every day. But yeah, given everything, might hold off on posting that stuff until maybe summer or fall. For upcoming trips, it's mostly domestic, so family stuff and work. Think New York, LA, and Houston. We usually do post some food stuff on Instagram, but otherwise less interesting, so probably won't do full videos. I guess the Singapore flight is locked down and we need to figure out hotels there. Also let me know if it makes sense to cover finding availability and my thought process. The benefit being that I can walk through everything and it can help people that are new to award booking. The disadvantage though is that space obviously changes. I guess more learning to fish rather than telling you where the fish are right now, but happy to make it if it's useful. We might also pop a Hilton free night reward to review Carneros in Napa since it's part of SOH. If you've been there, let me know if it's worth a night or two. Yeah, otherwise very fluid, and Mandy wants to go to Safari to see lions. Overall, a very interesting end of Q1 and hopefully a calmer Q2. Again, if you want to learn about cards, we have links on the website, AskSebby.com, and also down below in the description box. And if you're curious, all legal affiliate disclosures can also be found below in the description box. If you made it to this point, leave a lion emoji in the comments down below, and I'll try to heart it and also respond. 3 questions. Number 1, what cards are in your wallet this month? Number 2, what trips do you have booked and coming up? And number 3, what's the craziest thing that's happened to you on a trip? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favorite, thumbs up, share this, otherwise hope you liked it. See you next time.